All right, and joining me today is Mandel Nallo, who fights Samuel Silva at Dana White's Contender Series Week 4. That fight is on September 2nd. So, Mandel, I love starting these Dana White Contender Series interviews with asking about how you got the call. So tell me, what was it like when you got the call to fight? And, maybe what were some of your early reactions?
Yeah, I've been like hovering around, getting that call for a while. And then Montreal, the UFC that just passed, I was like, Benoit Saint Denis' opponent fell out, and I was in the running. There was me and two other Canadian guys that were in the running at lightweight, and it went to Kyle Prepolek. So I had a feeling that something was going to happen. I was so close, but yeah, I just got the call. I was trying to book something like anything, and then my manager gave me the call and he's like, "We have a spot." And it was initially supposed to be the end of September, so it's nice that it's a little earlier.
That is nice. Now, out of curiosity, like I heard your name in the running last year around Contender Series time, right? Like, I even think we saw some like rumored bout for you at one point in time during that season. How close were you to being on last year?
It's impossible to know. Like as a fighter, you just kind of like do your job, stay in shape, and it all depends on what they're thinking. Like I think part of what helped this time was that I was so close to being on the main show here in Montreal, and also they extended the season, like the amount of fights they have. So, guys that were maybe not making it for whatever reason, they got the call this time around.
And now I know you just said you were pretty close to getting that call last year, and in this last fight coming up. When you didn't get the call for the UFC, right? When they did go with Kyle Prepolek instead, you said it made you feel like this was coming, but was there a level of frustration to that as well?
Yes and no. Who knows why they're doing certain things? I can't blame anybody. All you can do as a fighter is fight. So like, you get used to little disappointments like that. It is what it is.
Well, and yeah, and you've been in the game for a while too, right? Like you've seen plenty of
Yeah.
disappointments and like, not gotten that call before. I know you've been, fighting at least as an amateur for 16 years. Do I have that right? 16
So
years at this
something
point?
like that. It's been,
Yeah,
been a
that's
long,
crazy, man.
long
And so
road.
like talk to me about what it means to like, be getting the call now with all you've been through.
Yeah, it's just, you never know how career in MMA is going to play out. Like the amount of guys who have been on the door of retirement and then they're a millionaire from PFL next season around, or who was it? Jorge Masvidal. Like I remember I was on the shuttle with him and his family after he lost to Wonder Boy in Madison Square Garden. He's like, oh, I got to take some time. I got to think about things. And then he's a superstar millionaire, 2 years after that. So you just all that matters is that you stay in shape and that you love the job, because then opportunities will come. I think. I don't know.
Yeah, and now that makes sense to me. And so like you seem to really love the job, obviously, right? Like you love MMA. What
Yeah.
sort of got you into it as early as you did? Because you were a teenager when you started.
I just liked I like competing. I like how you have to prove yourself. There's no faking it. There's no black belts. There's no guys that are sitting on the side of the mat not rolling. Like everybody who does BJJ competitively or MMA competitively, like they've got to be real. And then you get to go and test yourself against other gyms. It's kind of like a as close you can get to a Mortal Kombat tournament or something. And those are always, or Tekken tournament or something. Like it's me against it's us, our team against this team. And if you like your teammates and you like the day to day, then it's all good.
Well, and talk to me a little bit about those teammates too, because I know you train at TriStar, one of the famed gyms for Asahabi, all of those guys. How long has it been since you've been with those? Has it been since day one? How did you wind up at the TriStar?
Pretty much day one. Like I started at a gym in Ottawa, and then probably when I was 18 or 19, I started sparring here at TriStar on Saturdays. And that was when George was like big superstar. I think I came here when he was fighting Carlos Condit probably. And I've been with these guys ever since. And it's like to me, it's the best team. I mean, all my best friends are here, but it's a dream being able to hang out with these guys every day.
And what was that like as an 18-year-old watching, arguably the greatest MMA fighter in history? He's training right beside you. He's doing the
It
same things you
was
wanted to.
it was madness. Like when I remember it must have been the Carlos Condit fight. I came to spar and like we used to have a board for as used to put all the guys' names on a board and then he'd pair us up for our first 3 rounds. And I remember getting paired up with George randomly, because I was taller and longer. And then George invited me out to New York to go train in the Blue Basement that the next week. So like it was crazy. I remember sparring and my coach from Ottawa was watching and then Dave Loazo comes in to the gym and I'm like staring at Dave and getting punched because I'm like, holy smokes, this is amazing. So I got to kind of grow up around a lot of my idols in the sport.
And so then, like, what is it like to be in that next step right now? Because now your idols are sort of becoming your peers, or have been your peers for a while now. Like, what is it like to do that all in the same place?
It's as cool as it could possibly be. Like we're kind of doing what we talked about, like my good friend Eamon, he's now in the top 10 in the UFC and like we were teenagers, yeah, just like doing fitting in where we could in the gym. So seeing seeing us all grow up and continue with it because there are a lot of guys that, started when we started and now they have real jobs, which is also nice, but we're guys that stuck it out and our lives are still good. It's fun to be able to say that.
That is cool as hell. Now, I want to take us off the talk about fighting for just a second because I'm a guy who loves hearing a good story about a fight nickname. And so I got to ask,
Yeah,
as many hitmen or bulldogs or pit bulls or whatever there are out there, there's only one rat garbage. And I know on Tapology it's mango now. It doesn't say rat garbage anymore. But I know it was rat
true.
garbage once upon a time. So you got to tell me, where did rat garbage come from and why did we abandon it?
True fans can still call me rat garbage. If
Okay,
you
cool.
if you were if you were day one guy, you're grandfathered in. Yeah, like I've always been a guy that was late to the social media game. Like I remember even in high school, my friends like, you got to get a Facebook. It's the best thing. And so I never had Facebook until, way too late. And the same thing with Instagram. And then when I was trying to find an Instagram handle, like the whole game is replete with guys who have a nice haircut and a good beard, and they're going to hit the bag for you, and they're going to give you fight tips. But there aren't that many guys that are going to just post weird stuff and mostly lurk. So I was trying to go in the opposite direction. And then like I know being a rat is not necessarily good in street terms, but I like the idea. Like rats are scrappy and resourceful, and they stick together in those nests. So I always look to looked at the positive side of a rat.
I like that. But now I gotta then how did garbage get tacked onto it? Because
Oh,
I've
we're just trying to be as scuzzy as possible, I guess. And like back in the day when we were in the dorms, out here the TriStar dorms before they were nicer, like it was it was rough. So that it probably came from that too.
I like it. So then when did we switch to mango then? When did we become Mango Mando?
I don't even really know. Like that's just something my friends call me,
Okay.
Mandel. Like people just call me Mango. So um it was recent, I guess. I didn't do it. My tapology just changed
Okay.
one day, and that's fine. My parents are probably happy about that.
Were they not thrilled with rat garbage?
I
Your
think
folks didn't like that?
my you know African father could have done with a different nickname for sure.
Well, it's good that it's Mango now. So the next time we're going to hear Mango is going to be September 2nd. You're fighting
Correct.
Samuel Silva. Let's talk about that fight. They come to you with the name after all this time, waiting for the big moment. What are your first thoughts on Samuel Silva as the guy who's going to step in there against you?
Yeah, I think it's a sick matchup. Like people are like this is a UFC, caliber fight on contenders, and that seems to be what they do with contenders. There's like to me in my eyes as a viewer of the product, there are like some heavy mismatches they'll put on contenders because they really want one guy to shine. And then there's like really fair fights that they'll put. I think this is probably a good matchup, a fair fight between me and Samuel Silva. He's got a sick record, and his last win is a big one. So it just makes sense, and I like the fight. Like sometimes it's nicer to fight a guy with some mileage on him, like a longer career, so you figure out what he's up to. Whereas like if you're fighting one of these contender guys that's 8-0, only had first round finishes, you don't really know what he's about. So this is like as good as it gets in terms of matchups. Like there's no easy route to the UFC, so this is good.
Well, and then you mentioned in there that you like the stylistic matchup, both because you could get the footage on it, but what do you like specifically about the style?
He's just like I think he's just a good, well-rounded fighter. Like um, does it all, but I think it's a fight where my skills will be able to shine it as well, Like I don't want to name names, but if you're fighting a guy that's just going to blast double legs all the time, it's pretty tough to like be an exciting striker or anything, Like you kind of just have to play a very conservative game. So this is like a nice matchup where you're not so worried about, especially like contenders a job interview. So like if you're just sprawling takedowns and scoring 10-9s, it's like, okay, are we going to assign you? So like this is a fight where you can actually open up a little bit.
I
Because
like
winning
it.
is paramount, but like in the back of your mind, you're like, I need the job.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. So that leads me pretty much perfectly to my last question. I always like to end these things with a prediction. So tell me, September 2nd, how you see it going down.
You know Zangief from Street Fighter?
I do. Yeah.
I think either the spinning lariat or his big hop kick where he does
Yeah.
2 feet. Yeah, maybe one of those.
Okay.
That's what we've been practicing a lot, me and Faraz. So
I dig it. And that's the first time you'll hear that prediction. And this, once again, has been Mandel Nallo, who fights Samuel Silva. Dana White's Contender Series Week 4. Once again, that fight, September 2nd. Mandel, thank you so much for the time. I really appreciate
I
it.
appreciate you, buddy. Thanks.